Good morning, Aubrey. How's it going?
I'm great. How are you, Jessica?
You know, good and also kind of tired. And
Busy,
you are
busy.
too.
Yes.
I know you are because, guys, Aubrey and I are very hard at work on updating, like completely updating our IELTS course. You guys, it's huge. It's a huge, huge project. And we are so excited for you guys to get to experience this brand new IELTS course that has all the most amazing information, but we are like just redoing it and updating it all. So, with this in mind, Aubrey came up with a very cool thing to talk about today, guys.
Yes, really. I was working on, it's the same strategies, right? Because the strategies don't change unless the
Never.
exam were to change in some crazy, crazy major way. You need the same strategies for each section of the exam.
Hmm.
We're just changing the way it's going to be super updated and amazing
Yeah.
and user friendly. I'm so excited. So I was going through moving a lot of the practice questions, and I saw this strategy in reading for matching names to statements that has to do with pronouns. And I thought, oh man, this would be a really good episode because often pronouns are so tiny, right? We think
Hmm.
they can't be that important. They're so little, but
Yep.
they are really important on the reading exam. They can often be the key to finding the answer to a question.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. We've been doing a lot of very fantastic vocab and speaking and writing episodes. So we really wanted to bring you guys some reading strategies today. And this one in particular is not a reading strategy that you see in most IELTS courses and IELTS textbooks. However, it is so important because these little words, um, are exactly the key to giving you the answers for some of the toughest questions. So, we're going to talk about this strategy today, guys, how pronouns are important in these difficult question types of matching names, matching people to statements, matching places to statements, and also yes, no, not given, and true, false, not given. These are some of the hardest questions, and pronouns are the key to getting some of these answers. So, we're gonna talk about each of these question types and give you test examples of what you will see with a pronoun. So, it will all be clear. It's a lot of complicated information that we will explain in a very clear way.
Awesome. Yes, let's dive in. We're going to start with personal pronouns. You guys might be familiar with these, right? He, she, they.
Mhm.
But have you thought about how important they might be when finding your answers on the reading exam? Let's give an example that will show you. And by the end of this example, I know that you're going to be like, oh, yeah. Okay, I need to watch for pronouns.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this first because I just finished one of our lessons about this strategy. Um and on the face of things, it seems like a simple question, right? Because names are so easy to scan for in the passage. Names are so easy to find because they have that capital letter. You know exactly what you're looking for. And that's where most courses will stop. They'll just say, look for the name, read the sentence with the name, and match it to one of the statements, right? But we don't stop there because we know that IELTS likes to trick you. And so this is one of those tricks, right? They'll have the name in there in the passage, and then it's actually the next sentence after that that contains the answer. Okay, because that sentence will have a pronoun referring to the name. So remember, guys, pronouns are teeny tiny little words. And so a lot of students won't pay attention to them, and therefore they won't find these answers. Okay, so here's an example, guys. I'll read what the passage says, and Aubrey will read what the question is. Okay, so the passage says, Brown notes that one's metabolism is largely based on genes. She went on to say that while exercise does help, it is not the deciding factor.
All right. And the statement is thinks that working out helps, but is not the main way to be slim. So, just like Jessica was saying, that first statement, that first sentence has the name Brown, but
Mhm.
the answer is actually in the next sentence. She went on to say, and if you're not looking for the personal pronoun, you don't see that she, you might miss this answer, or you might not see the keywords in that first sentence and move on to the next statement, try to
Yeah,
match it and end up wasting a lot of time.
exactly, exactly. So it is tricky, guys, because we're asking you to read a little bit more than you think you should. But especially in these questions that you think are super easy, it is really important to pay attention to the strategies that we teach you, because you know that sometimes, like with matching names and with true, false, not given, the two question types we're talking about today, you cannot stop with just one sentence, okay? You really do have to read the following sentence in order to be sure about the answer, okay? So it is a little bit of extra time, but ultimately you have to do this in order to get the answers correct. You're never going to read every word in a passage. That is not what we're saying, because there's not time for that. But you do have to learn and practice these strategies a lot so they're very familiar, second nature on test day, and so you're ready going in, right? And as a side note, guys, this information about pronouns, carrying information, being keywords, this is also true for the listening test. Okay, so we're not talking about listening today, I know, but we are telling you that this strategy is also important for listening.
Exactly, right? You have to notice pronouns because just like Jessica said, they carry information, right? They are replacing the subject, which if that's the keyword, if the information is about the subject, the pronoun is as if the name were there again. So you need to treat it like a keyword and look for those answers. Awesome.
And another side note
Yes,
about
and another
pronouns.
thing.
We will move on to the next question type very soon, I promise. But also about pronouns. The examiner who is grading your writing actually looks for pronoun reference in task 1 and task 2 because that is part of your coherence score. Okay, so oh my gosh, pronouns are so important.
Right? This is how we avoid repeating vocabulary
Yeah.
often by using pronouns. So, yes, you're going to need them all over the IELTS exam, especially on reading. Let's get into the next one.
All right, guys. So, matching names. We just said that it could be matching people to statements, but it could also be matching places to statements or descriptions or details, whatever. So the strategy is the same. It's just the type of pronouns you're looking for might be different. So in the previous example, we were talking about the pronouns that refer to people, right? He, she, they. But now there are also pronouns that could refer to places. So for example, if the passage says, the York House is in Massachusetts, there it is nestled among a unique grove of trees.
And the statement says, the York House is in a small forest. Just like the previous example, you have the York House in that first sentence,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not until after that pronoun there that you get the actual answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unique
Mm-hmm.
grove of trees is a paraphrase, a parallel for a small forest.
And here also, guys, it's a good place to remind you that you do not have to know all the vocabulary to get the answers. So maybe you don't know what a grove is. A grove is a collection of trees, but even if you don't know that, it says a grove of trees. And you know that a forest is made of trees. And so those are parallel expressions, right? Trees and small forests, that's the parallel expression. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know what a unique grove means. You'll still get the answer. And IELTS does that. They don't require you to know all the words. You know enough words. If you are listening to this podcast, you have the English level you need to understand what you need to on the IELTS exam.
Yes, such a good point. And in fact, the most difficult, most unfamiliar words will often be distractions, right?
Totally.
They'll
Good point.
both be, they'll be in the passage and in the answer, but not, or, in the statements, but
Hmm. Hmm.
not give you the answer.
Exactly. Oh, good point. Aubrey, you are an IELTS expert. All right, let's move on to this last question type, guys. So, moving on for matching, we're going to give you an example of the tricks that IELTS does for yes, no, not given, and true, false, not given. So, again, this is a question type where after you match keywords from the statement, you find these keywords in the passage, you read the sentence with those keywords. Our three key strategy does ask you to read the sentence after that as well, because the answer might be there. We have to do that to be sure. So, for example, the passage says, Mr. Thomas added to the knowledge bank as well with his novel network ideas for creating the internet. So, this was not invented by one person, but a collective effort of numerous individuals.
And the statement is Mr. Thomas invented the internet.
These are ridiculous ideas. No, they're not. They could be on the test.
They could be on the test, and we want it to be very clear for you guys. We know, podcasts are an auditory medium. Of course, you can watch this on YouTube, but where you can't see the words, like rewind if you need to hear these examples again. But we want it to be very clear, right? You
Mm-hmm,
have this statement. You have to find out if, according to the passage, it's true,
mm-hmm,
false,
mm-hmm.
or there's not information to know. It's not given, right? And you have Mr. Thomas, you have that keyword, but then you've got this whole long sentence, and the actual keywords you're matching aren't until the following sentence. This was not invented, where this is a pronoun replacing the internet.
And if you stop at that first sentence, you could match those keywords, right? You could say, okay, I see Mr. Thomas. I see creating. That could be like invented. I see internet. So you think, oh, okay, it's true. But if you are following our three key strategies, you know that you should read the following sentence, because right there you see the pronoun, you see that relative pronoun, this. And so you know that there's some important information there that is connected to the previous sentence, right? So pronouns connect sentences just like linking words. And so when you read that, you say, aha, I am not tricked like these other measly IELTS candidates who don't listen to IELTS Energy. I am smart and I am getting the answer.
That's such a good point, right? These strategies are so key because, like you said, you don't have time to read entire passages and get all 40 answers correct. It's just not possible. So you're using strategies, you're looking for keywords. And if you don't go far enough, if you just match keywords, make assumptions, you could get tricked by these intentional traps that IELTS
Mm-hmm.
test writers are putting in there. So you need those strategies. You need to know exactly what you need to do, have a very clear path for yourself on test day. It's going to give you the confidence you need and all the strategies you need to get these answers correct.
So, guys, do go to allearsenglish.com/KEYS. Get into the three key system right now, and then you will be one of the first people in the world to experience our new course, which is coming soon. So get in now, start learning the strategies, and then you will automatically be transferred into the new course when it is ready, which will be very soon.
Awesome. So fun, Jessica. I'm excited we were able to dive into some reading strategies. I know you
Yeah.
guys out there need them and want them. So you're welcome.
That sounded like just a little bit arrogant. So you're
So
welcome.
you're welcome, guys. I
I
know they're
love
out
it.
there saying thank you. Why not say
Oh,
you're
yeah.
welcome?
Oh, say thank you in a review, guys. Wherever you're
Yes.
listening to us right now, we love to read your reviews. Even if you have, a criticism, we want to see that too. So wherever you're listening to IELTS Energy right now, leave us a review.
Awesome. So we'll see you next time, Jessica.
All right, bye.
Bye.